I've lost another boyfriend before when I was 16.
This was the exact moment when a slip-up from Kimberly provided the detectives with a major lead in her boyfriend's murder. 31-year-old Gabriel Montanez had been found shot dead just outside her apartment. But this was just the beginning of the intense investigation that lay ahead.
Squeeze my hand if you can hear me. Squeeze my hand. Okay, he's barely responsive.
And I could see that he had 2 bullet-like holes on the right side of his chest and 1 exit wound, which appeared to be an exit wound from a bullet on the left side of his chest.
Despite having numerous clues aligning perfectly with the timeline of the murder, what happened next turned the whole case upside down.
You either are the person that shot and killed Gabe, or you're somebody that knows who did it, okay?
It all started on July 25, 2017, when Michigan police received a disturbing 911 call around 2:05 a.m. about a deadly shooting.
Oh, yes, ma'am. I'm up in Washington Square Apartments. I think a guy just got shot. He's outside begging for help. He's right by the Howard store parking lot.
What do you think that he was just shot?
I heard a shot, and he's just laying on the ground right here by these cars.
You see a man lay on the ground?
Yes, he's sitting right here yelling, help.
See, and I've got some officers heading that way now.
Okay, he's laying out for a little way now.
Unsure of what they were walking into, multiple units rushed to the scene, but when they arrived, they immediately noticed that the man who was shot was struggling to breathe.
Stay with us, buddy. Stay with us.
One more person with hands, please.
This blood trail would indicate from experience that the victim was not shot in the location where he was found.
Check his lower half, see if he has any gunshots down there.
Absolutely.
It was at this point that I really went into paramedic mode.
Can you talk? Squeeze my hand if you can hear me. Squeeze my hand. Squeeze my hand. Squeeze my hand. Okay, he's barely responsive. No, dude. No. Yep.
The officers administered CPR, hoping he could still be saved. Within moments, paramedics arrived, swiftly stabilizing him before rushing him to the hospital.
He's breathing now. Hey, get us a backboard. Roll him your way. It's a load and go.
As soon as he arrived at the hospital, doctors wasted no time and took him in for emergency surgery.
He's still breathing. We're just expecting his pulse.
So he's got 2 gunshot wounds here and 1 exit.
I saw the exit over there.
It was then they found his ID card, finally revealing his identity.
Somebody wanted ID.
Oh, we got another bullet. We're working on it. Oh, perfect. Thank you very much.
It was at that point that we saw that his name was Gabriel Montanez.
Sadly, despite the doctor's efforts, he didn't survive the surgery, and his death was officially ruled a homicide. 31-year-old Gabriel Juarez Montanez left behind a grieving family, a mother, a wife, and a daughter who had always been by his side. Meanwhile, back at the crime scene, the police launched a murder investigation. They secured the entire area, making sure nothing was disturbed, and began carefully examining the spot where Gabriel had been shot.
Took us a minute to find him.
I bet.
So he was actually between the black car and the Buick. There's a little blood over there, so I don't know where the shooting happened.
Hey, Sergeant Holdwick. It actually happened right over there.
Okay.
And there's actually a big spot of blood on the ground right there, so I'm going to grab some more tape.
Yeah, grab your tape then.
Yep.
As the officers searched the scene, they found a trail of blood which they believed belonged to Gabriel. This trail suggested that he hadn't been shot where he was found, but had instead crawled there. Realizing this, they started canvassing the area, hoping to find leads that could help them move forward with the case. It wasn't long before they noticed several apartment buildings nearby. Thinking that someone might have seen or heard something, they decided to go door to door, questioning residents to see if anyone had any information about the shooting.
Kalamazoo Police.
Hi, I'm sorry to wake you at this early hour. There was a shooting in your parking lot about 2 o'clock, so about 2 hours ago. Did you see or hear anything?
No, I didn't see.
Okay. Can I get your name, please?
Nearby, there was also an apartment building, so the officers decided to check there as well. As they knocked on doors, they came across a man who turned out to be one of the 911 callers who had actually witnessed the shooting.
Hello, sorry to bother you.
Hollered at him. I told him to get out my yard and ran back towards Grace. Okay. Exactly what I told him. Okay. Then another guy ran right about 5 minutes later. I sat there and watched for a little while in my back window upstairs.
Okay. Can you describe the first male?
No. He had on a hoodie. And that's all I know, black hoodie. And I know he's black.
Okay. Black hoodie, black male, white pants, and then the second guy?
Yeah, he had on dark color. I couldn't catch exactly the good dark. He kept running straight down that way towards Grace. And I don't know, he was trying to cut through the yard, but I stopped him.
The first male, was he heavy, taller, shorter?
Thin guy. This was both of us thin guys. Probably anywhere from 5 feet to a little over 5 feet, somewhere around there.
Did you hear the gunshots?
Yes, I did.
And then
exactly at 2 o'clock, at 2:01. No left.
Okay. And it was
2 shots, but I knew they were gunshots the way it run out.
According to him, when he confronted the shooter, the man immediately fled on foot, heading east. While this was an important piece of information, it still wasn't enough to identify the suspect. Time was slipping away, and the pressure was on. The officers knew they had to catch the shooter quickly before anyone else became his next victim. After hours of investigation, the detectives turned their attention to Gabriel's background, seeking to uncover any enemies or possible motives for targeting him. As they dug deeper, they discovered that Gabriel had an ex-girlfriend named Kimberly, also known as Kelsey. But that wasn't the only thing that stood out. What really caught their attention was a past complaint filed against him by Kimberly.
I arrested Gabriel on a warrant after his estranged ex-girlfriend called in that he was stalking her at work.
A few days before the shooting, Gabriel had been called by the police acting upon Kimberly's request. She'd been at work when he showed up unannounced and lingered around, which angered her, and being extremely frustrated, she called the police to have him removed. To the detectives, this might have seemed like a minor incident at first, but now they began to wonder, could this small encounter have escalated into something much bigger? To uncover the truth, they needed to speak with Kimberly. As they started looking into her background and tracked down her current address, their suspicions about her only grew stronger.
She lived in the apartment building that bordered the crime scene where Gabriel's body had been found. I could not avoid seeing that as a possibility that Kimberly knew something about the crime, was a witness to the crime, or had some information as to who could have targeted Gabriel.
With a search warrant in hand, they headed toward her apartment, unsure of what they might find once they got there.
She may be harboring somebody. A couple different things.
Okay.
Unsure of what the investigation would reveal, detectives quickly assembled a SWAT team and reached her apartment. As they cautiously moved up the stairs, countless possibilities ran through their minds. Had Kimberly killed Gabriel? Or was she the one trapped behind the locked doors?
There's a lot of things that are going through my mind at that time. Could she be a victim? Is there a suspect inside of there that's lying in wait?
After unlocking the door, they began calling out, alerting anyone inside of their presence and ensuring that they weren't walking into the unexpected.
Kalamazoo Police, we're concerned about your welfare. If you're inside, please answer us now.
As they called out for any potential threats, a woman's voice from inside the bedroom responded. It was Kimberly identifying herself.
Is anybody else inside here? No. Just you? Yes. Can we come back here and contact you, please? Yes. Thank you.
Kimberly was still in bed even when we opened the door, which was kind of suspicious.
When detectives moved in, Kimberly remained in bed, unnaturally calm. Despite the chaos and repeated loud warnings, her lack of reaction was unsettling, making them question whether she had truly been asleep or was merely pretending. However, before questioning Kimberly for her odd behavior, something else was of a priority, looking for a clue that could break open the case. For this, they had to examine her house.
Can I check to make sure no one else is inside this apartment? Okay, thank you. Clear here, clear here.
I just want to make sure that you're aware. We came inside because we're concerned about your welfare and safety, okay? Is that all right with you that we're here now checking on you?
Yeah.
All right, I appreciate it.
However, after examining every corner of the house, the detectives found nothing that directly linked Kimberly to Gabriel's murder. Yet their gut told them that there was more to the story. Determined to get answers, they turned to Kimberly, asking her if she had anything to share.
Has anybody contacted you in the last hour?
My boyfriend.
Who's that?
His name is Gabriel.
No.
However, not only did she talk about her relationship with Gabriel, but what she revealed next was not something they saw coming.
This isn't the first time this happened. I've lost another boyfriend before when I was 16.
Okay. Who said anything about losing a boyfriend?
By now, detectives hadn't even informed her about Gabriel's death, but her mentioning that it wasn't the first time she had lost her boyfriend wasn't just surprising. It raised some serious concerns. It suggested that she had already known about Gabriel's murder. To determine precisely how much she knew about the crime, they requested her to come to Kalamazoo Department of Public Safety headquarters for questioning.
Are you willing to come down to our headquarters and speak with some detectives?
Would you,
No, because I'm
mind
tired.
sitting on that apartment? We're going to hold it.
Okay. We kind of got a serious situation going on
Okay,
here.
but I didn't do nothing.
Okay. Nobody's saying that you did anything. Okay.
So why do I have to go downtown?
Listen, nobody's telling you you have to do anything.
Out of work.
So
I just got out of work. I'm tired.
we're just asking basically to help us out, for your help.
I don't know nothing.
Okay. Well, could you tell them that? Should you at least go down there and let them know?
So all I do is walk in and say, I don't know what happened, and I get to leave.
Despite her constant refusals, the officers managed to convince her to come in for the interview. Eventually, she gave in and arrived at the downtown sheriff's office for the interview.
So you've been in a dating relationship with Gabriel, is that right?
Yeah, since last February.
Since last February, okay.
According to Kimberly, she had met Gabriel right after leaving work and returning home at around 12:55 a.m. After that, she was alone for the night.
You didn't have any other contact with him after 12:55?
No.
Okay, and no other contact with anybody else after 12:55?
What's the real reason why I'm here?
We've got to start someplace, right? And usually we start with family, girlfriends, friends, people that know something about the person that has been a victim.
So what happened to him?
Nobody told you?
No.
Shot and killed.
Detectives had found no significant clue from Kimberly's interrogation yet. They believed that she was unaware of Gabriel's death and informed her, observing her closely, hoping to find the slightest clue that could prove them wrong. But instead, her reaction was quite the opposite of what they'd expected.
You didn't know that, huh? I'm sorry. We assumed you did.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Seeing Kimberly break down upon hearing the news, the detectives felt her emotions were genuine and ruled her out as a possible suspect. However, they needed a lead, and Kimberly was the only possible key to finding it.
Can you take me home? Can we just talk to you for a few more minutes, huh? We'll just ask you some more questions. I know it's hard, but this is really important. We need to find out who did this. All right? You didn't hear any shots tonight? Didn't hear anything like that? Okay. Any idea who would do this? Okay. Has he got enemies? You got a beef with somebody right now? I don't know.
But getting information from her wasn't as easy as it seemed. Kimberly denied knowing anything about Gabriel's death. However, she did admit to having multiple affairs while dating Gabriel, leaving him deluded. This raised suspicion in the detective's mind. Could her deception have played a role in his death?
We're starting to think that there's a little bit more to this story as far as some of these people who Kimberly is involved with.
Noting her infidelity toward Gabriel, they moved on to questioning her about the night of the murder. Since the incident occurred right outside her house, it seemed unlikely that she hadn't heard the gunshots. However, as they continued questioning her, they realized that she seemed just as lost about the house search, let alone the murder.
Did you not hear the police banging on the door? And
I did.
did you? Why didn't you answer?
Because I thought that they was just looking around to see if anybody heard anything.
Heard anything?
It seemed really strange that Kimberly she claimed to have been sound asleep and didn't really know why the police were knocking at her door. And here her boyfriend had just been shot and killed outside of her apartment. Her response was very bizarre to us.
However, they knew she was not telling the whole truth. Detectives had a faint idea that Kimberly's infidelity was a key angle to pursue in the case. To dig deeper into the other men she had been seeing, lead detective Karen Rivard was brought in to question her.
And you said there's 3 guys that you're seeing right now? Okay. Does Gabriel know about any of these other guys?
Gabriel was always like, I don't know why you just don't tell me you're seeing somebody.
Yeah, he knows. Then doesn't he?
I just always told him, I was like, I'm not seeing nobody.
Kimberly had already revealed to the 2 other detectives that she'd been involved with 3 other men besides Gabriel. Now, with a woman leading the investigation, she became more comfortable revealing that Gabriel had suspected her of cheating. This strengthened the theory that her deception toward Gabriel might have played a role in this murder.
She was definitely telling me portions of the truth, but I was very critical of the details that she was not providing.
However, to determine whether she truly knew nothing about the shooting that happened outside her house, or if she was simply trying to evade the police, Detective Rivard showed her the picture of the crime scene.
So, do you recognize this right here?
Yeah.
What is that?
That's my window.
Yeah. And what's outside the window?
My car with the tape line.
Right. And your car's in the parking lot, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And that's the parking lot where Gabriel was killed. And you're telling me that you did not hear or see what happened?
No.
Don't believe it. Not good with it.
Well, I'm telling you the truth. Can I please go home?
Kimberly revealed nothing. Detective Rivard realized that she wasn't going to cooperate and let her go. Shifting their focus elsewhere, they began searching for clues in surrounding areas, starting with the surveillance cameras in the neighborhood. Not long after, they found a CCTV camera at a gas station positioned diagonally across the crime scene. Without wasting time, they headed to the gas station, hoping it would finally give them a breakthrough.
We watched the video and we saw a Buick pull into the parking lot.
We were able to get the plate, we run the plate, and who's it registered to? Kimberly.
However, while watching the footage, they found more than one piece of incriminating evidence suggesting that Kimberly was aware of Gabriel's murder. In fact, she had been right there when the shooting had taken place. In the footage, they found that her car was found parked outside the gas station, something she didn't reveal during the investigation. But that wasn't the only disturbing fact. Detectives were shocked when they realized that there was another man in her car that day, someone they already knew.
One of the people in the vehicle is a subject who I'm familiar with, I've dealt with in the past. And that individual's name is Ellis.
Given that Kimberly's friend Ellis had a history with police for multiple offenses, tracking him down wasn't difficult. They found him sitting on the stairs of a residence on a busy block in Kalamazoo, his child with him.
It's a free environment. I can walk where I
In
want.
fact, you're putting your child in this circumstance
I
too,
ain't.
which concerns me. The fact that he's present here is a concern.
They urged him to come over to the sheriff's office for an interview, but he refused. It wasn't the ideal time for an interview, but with no other choice, they questioned him there.
That We know that you have some valuable information for the investigation. I do not think that you did anything wrong.
No, nothing. I ain't got nothing to give you. I'm sorry though. I understand what you said, but I don't know nothing about that.
Have you ever had anybody gunned down in the street in your family? Anybody killed in your family?
I used to be around. So I don't know nothing about
Yeah, that's a crap. You told me that crap last time.
I don't be around that type of stuff.
You're all the time around it.
Alright.
Where are you standing right now?
So,
I think this is my first day as a cop.
So, I can stand where I want to stand. It's a free country.
Stuff happens here all the time. So you
Not with
are
me.
around it. You are
She
around
didn't
it.
say it happened.
Right, so it don't matter.
But you're around it.
I ain't around nothing.
Ellis was also just attempting to stay true to not cooperating with the police.
Detectives started by showing him the CCTV footage from the gas station, where he was clearly captured, hoping he would turn himself in after being confronted with solid proof. Instead, he did something unexpected. He completely denied being the man in the footage. Sensing his fear of getting caught, Detective Rivard tried to calm him down and get him to talk more.
Well,
I never lied about nothing.
I didn't say you lied.
No, I'm just saying.
Okay. I know you don't want to. I know you don't want to involved in it. What I think happened that day is that you were in the wrong place at the wrong time. Okay? And you saw something that you did not want to see, and you probably want to forget. Right? Is that fair to say?
Despite their efforts, detectives could not get a single useful word out of Ellis. However, he did provide an alibi for the day of the murder. He insisted that he'd been with his girlfriend Samantha during that time and wasn't the one in the footage. With this information, detectives now turned towards Samantha to verify his alibi. After checking her whereabouts, they called her in for questioning.
So when's the last time you saw him?
The day they called me.
The day they called
And
you?
he had to tell me why they had to drop him off at the house.
What day was that? You don't even know?
I don't remember.
How long ago was that?
Maybe more than a month ago, because it was in my apartment and we don't stay there anymore.
So you haven't seen him in a month?
No, because I'm pregnant and I didn't want nothing to do with that.
Soon after Samantha was brought in for an interview, detectives discovered that she and Ellis were not together anymore, and as a matter of fact, both had met a month ago, which clearly didn't match Ellis's alibi. Detectives then confronted Samantha about Gabriel's murder and asked her if she knew anything, to which she insisted that she didn't. To confirm that she wasn't lying, they showed her the same CCTV footage from the gas station that captured Ellis. It was then that she finally spoke, confirming that the man in the footage was indeed Ellis.
So go on. You're saying that...
I asked him if he knew who it was.
Mm-hmm.
And he said he didn't.
Even though she admitted that Ellis was at the gas station, she denied knowing anything about Gabriel's killer. Detective Rivard pushed her to speak to Ellis and confirm about the killer, but instead, she withdrew completely.
He's not in any trouble. He was there. He knows what happened. Can you message him right now?
No, he don't have his own phone. He has to use Wi-Fi.
Okay.
Stop.
Okay. When do you normally talk to him?
Whenever I see he's on.
Can you see if he's on right now?
No.
Can I see?
He wasn't on. I don't feel like I need to show him.
Okay. Well, you realize that this is a very serious investigation, right?
I know, but don't have anything to do with me or my family.
And I don't understand what he's so afraid of. Because he's not going to get arrested. He's not in any trouble.
He's afraid of the snitch word.
With no solid lead from Samantha, detectives shifted their approach. They obtained a search warrant for Kimberly's car, and to their shock, what they found was more disturbing than expected.
Several things in the car that we found were items that belonged to Kimberly. We also found belongings that belonged to Gabriel Montanez. And we also located a spent shell casing. That spent shell casing was a .40 caliber, and that .40 caliber matched the wounds that Gabriel had received during the homicide.
But this wasn't even close to what they found next. A stack of traffic tickets for a 21-year-old man named Cornell Head. All this evidence suggested that Kimberly had complete information about the night of the murder and knew exactly who the killer was. Keeping this in mind, detectives called her in for an interview once again.
Remember, I told you I have some more questions about the investigation, so we might as well kill two birds with one stone, right? Mm-hmm. What I want to do today is give you the opportunity to clean slate, start over, okay? I need you to tell me. I want it to be your story. I want you to be the one that's speaking for you, not somebody else. I don't want to go to jail.
No, nobody wants that.
Nobody wants that. And we don't want to see that either.
Kimberly seemed terrified of any consequences pertaining to Gabriel's murder and broke down. Detectives, however, took a chance and pressed her a little further, leaving no option for her but to speak.
And there's either two spots that you fill, okay? You either are the person that shot and killed Gabe, or you're somebody that knows who did it, okay? Which one is it? You know? Okay. So what do you know? Tell me about that night.
I don't want to talk about it. Well, this is a homicide investigation, okay?
I don't want to go to court.
Okay. Well, let's worry about that when the time comes. There are ways.
If I have to go to court, I'm just telling you right now, I will kill myself.
Okay.
Determined to find the killer, detectives asked her to write the name of the killer, hoping it would make her more comfortable to confess. But what she confessed would be a chilling revelation of darker truth.
Sure.
I don't want to go to court.
Come on, we're doing good. You're doing good here. Let's stay on track. Let's focus on what we're doing here today. Okay? What's the name? Okay.
So you pull in, and is Cornell waiting there for you? Outside or inside?
Cornell was the man Kimberly had cheated on Gabriel with. He was also the third person in the car that night. According to her, after leaving work, she picked up Cornell and Ellis, and all three of them went to McDonald's and then to a gas station before finally arriving at Kimberly's house, where they parked the car in the lot. Moments later, her panic set in as she saw Gabriel approaching her car from the passenger side where Cornell was sitting. Just as Gabriel opened the door, she heard 2 gunshots. The next thing she saw was Gabriel lying lifeless on the ground.
At that point then, she fled inside of her apartment and hid.
As soon as they confirmed Cornell being the real killer, detectives took no time to track him down. They learned that he was already arrested in Chicago and flew there to interview him.
Did she tell you that she had seen Gabe the week before? When he first got back into Kalamazoo? She didn't tell you that? She probably didn't tell you that she slept with him twice that week too, did she?
I know she done, cause she goes straight to work and come back. And she called me every time.
So she's lying to me, telling me that she slept with him? That can't make you feel good. Knowing that she was seeing him behind her back.
Upon talking to Cornell, detectives realized that not just Gabriel, Kimberly had also cheated on Cornell. She had been two-timing all along. To make matters worse, Cornell had no clue about her relationship with him. The news came to him as a complete shock.
He really loved Kimberly. It was very clear when I was talking with him that he had no idea that she had cheated on him.
However, after hearing about Kimberly's betrayal, Cornell shifted his story, claiming it was Gabriel who threw the first punch at him and that he had only fired in retaliation.
Do you remember, do you fire when you're still in the car? Do you shoot the gun when you're still in the car? Or do you shoot the gun when you're outside of the car?
It was like, I don't know, it was like both.
Okay,
I was still sitting down.
makes sense. So then you get, where does he go after you shoot him?
After he opened my door, whatever, run off. After he go like this.
You can try.
Now he like, boom.
But the law could not save him. Charged with second-degree murder, he was sentenced on November 6, 2018 to 30 to 50 years of imprisonment, plus 2 years for each of the 2 counts of felony firearm. Gabriel Montanez's story was a tragic tale of love and betrayal, one that did not just destroy him, but also everyone connected to him.
My daughter had her quinceañera, and that is a celebration of turning 15. It's a celebration of becoming a young lady. And her father, Gabriel, had one of the biggest roles. That's just one monumental highlight of my daughter's life that he's going to miss. He's going to miss walking her down the aisle. He's going to miss her first baby. He's going to miss when she graduates high school or college. There will constantly be reminders of how much we miss him and how he was taken far, far too soon.
More than anyone, his daughter missed him growing up, and every moment felt like a stolen memory she could never get back.
Me and my dad did like to go shopping a lot. We just shopped for lots of things. We shopped for anything that we saw that we might like. But mostly he was a shoe addict, so we mostly shopped for shoes.
Cornell's crime of passion had resulted in a loss that could never be filled again, leaving lives shattered, mourning forever.